So this video has been in the making for a while, clearly, as the game this video is about was terminated in February. It's a lot later than February, but I wanted to play it for one reason. I remember being a little child, about 7 years old, and I got my first console for Christmas, a Wii. Next to that Wii was a Skylanders Swap Force starter pack, along with Night Shift, Rattleshake, and Hoot Loop. But after that, my addiction to the series just grew and grew. After months of being upset that Imaginators was the last game to ever come out of the franchise, I searched up the Skylanders mobile game from my childhood, Skylanders Battlegrounds. I remember playing Battlegrounds on my iPad when I was a wee little child, about from maybe, 8 to 10, and then all of a sudden, gone. Just like that, it wasn't on the App Store anymore, and I couldn't play my favorite mobile game of all time. So, when I looked up Battlegrounds and found Ring of Heroes, I was shocked, and so I immediately knew I had to play it. And then I figured, what a great video this would be. Revisiting my childhood in the form of a new mobile game I haven't played before. Now I had one rule for this playthrough, and that was to only use the Skylanders that I actually owned. But enough introduction. Welcome to my Skylanders Ring of Hero experience. As though I knew I could never reach my true potential because of not being able to be known as Biggest Dickus the Portal Master, I began to play the tutorial level, which was the most terrifying battle I've ever went through, even after beating the game. 2 chompies. Now here you may have realized, wait, why did you use the one with 3? You could have used the one with 2 and used another move, save mana. Yeah, I know. Here's the thing. My phone, this phone right here, is broken very badly, which means that if I touch the top of the screen, it has a little dead spot where I can't touch. And since I was playing the game like this, the move that was right there, I couldn't touch. I found a way to get it to work, but it's like 1 pixel that I have to touch, which generally wasted about 20 minutes total throughout my playthrough. After summoning Jetpack, I made my way through the first half of the first isle and its enemies, which consisted of Chompies, Crankensteins, Graveclobber, Tropical Variant, which I thought was fucking sick, Shield Shredders, and Sheep Creeps. Then I got to do my first complete RNG summon of a Skylander, which, if I didn't have in real life, I couldn't use it. Now, I didn't have a few of these Skylanders, and I knew I didn't, but with a heavy heart, I summoned my Skylander. Nah, just kidding. I kept moving, because who needs a strong Skylander early on? Down goes Sheep Creep, down goes Chompy, down goes Chill Bill, down goes Shield Shredder, and down goes Sheep Creep and Chompy again. I had this aisle on lockdown. I was just tearing through, and to be fair, I was probably supposed to be. Like, I'd be concerned if I didn't do well on the first aisle in the game, up until level 7. Now, in each aisle there are 7 levels, and the 7th being the boss battle. But before the boss, you need to fight some goons. Goons gone, then out came one of my favorite villains of the series, Chompy Mage. I was excited, because I loved Chompies, and I loved Chompy Mage even more. So I did what anyone would do if they met their idol. I killed him in cold blood. Second aisle now, level 1, pushover. I can upgrade my Skylanders? Well, where the fuck Persephone then? After a quick cash out, I decided to use that summon and pray it wasn't a Skylander I didn't have. Fuck. But it was okay, because I used my cash out to get 5 summons. Oh, a dupe. But it's okay, because I still had 3 more. Yo. Blast Zone. I love Blast Zone. One of my favorite Skylanders. And I have... Okay. Another one I couldn't use. But it's fine, because there's 1 more Skylander. Ooh. I had only gotten 2 Skylanders out of a 5 Skylander summon, but it was fine. I was happy with it. And literally, and I'm not exaggerating in the slightest, 15 minutes of contemplating, I removed Spyro and Jetpack from the team, and added Blast Zone and Tide Pool. Some more clean sweeps later, and I'm on the 7th level of Isle 2. After defeating these goons, I was on to the Gulper, another one of my favorite villains, which is why I was so sad I didn't get to see more of him in Trap Team. The only thing looking down for me in this fight was that Tide Pool's health was at 3/4. But I moved on, and then this happened. Blast Zone died. But it's fine, because Tide Pool hung on and destroyed that stupid slug. I never liked Gulper anyway. Moving on to the Fire Isle, I stomped everyone per usual until, boom, Chef Pepperjack. I know it sounds fake to keep saying this, but I love Chef Pepperjack. 3 of my top 5 villains in the first 3 aisles. Rough for me, but this fight, things were looking down. Tidepoo was still on full HP. Everyone else was either on 3/4 down or half down. Not the best. And then after a long, heated fight, this happened. Anyone else noticing a pattern? After killing the pepper, I moved on to the air aisle, which went, you guessed it, I continued to stomp the air aisle. Then after a few levels, a questionable line from Dreamcatcher, and some more decimating, we've made it to the Dreamcatcher battle. With Stealth Elf at half and Tidepool at 3/4, the odds weren't looking the best. Then this happened. What the fuck? Dreamcatcher made a copy of my Eruptor, which was bad because he was like the beefiest one on my team. Not only that, but he used a move that has the provoke effect. This makes it so that I can only attack him. So despite Dreamcatcher's health, if I wanted to kill her, I had to kill one of my own, which Dreamcatcher did immediately after. Then, after a lot of damage, the provoke was removed, along with it, Stealth Elf. So I nuked Dreamcatcher. Then was the Earth Isle, which was tough. By far the toughest isle yet, and it wasn't even a close comparison. Like, the last isle was fairly easy, but this was gonna be difficult. So I upgraded my Skylanders and pressed forward, hoping nothing terrible would happen. And I made it through, only having lost 1 Skylander each time. Not the worst, but definitely room for improvement. And I managed to get Freeze Blade and Crusher. I adore Freeze Blade. He's my second favorite Swap Force Skylander, and might even be my top 5 all time. Crusher was just Crusher. He's a giant, so he was a big boy capable of big things. Then what happened? Yeah. But they were both level 1, and Tidepool and Stealth Elf were like level 25-ish. Obviously, they were doomed. After giving the 2 steroids, I shoved them back into the battleground. And then came the Golden Queen, which, spoiler, was terrifying. She could turn my Skylanders to gold for a few turns, make these sentry things, and right as she's about to hit me with a big move, she fell. Then onto the Tech Aisle, which was nice. The team managed to get through fairly easily, although the aisles were getting a lot harder a lot quicker, and I mean a lot harder. Then the boss, Dr. Crankcase. This definitely humbled me, because I ran in thinking it would be easy, and then this happens. I got completely rolled. This one was tough. I had spent hours on the Crankcase fight alone and got nowhere. I only ever got him to half health. So, after doing some quests, saving up the gems for another summon, I summoned a new Skylander, got one I can use, roided her up and sent her in, and surprisingly, I beat him. There was nothing stopping me now. I had to beat this game before it was terminated, as it was getting terminated in February, and it was like January, as no more games will probably come out of this franchise. It's gone, laid to rest by Activision and Toys for Bob. As I continued my journey, it wasn't about me, my team, or even making a video. It was about the Skylanders community as a whole. I will beat this game to prove Skylanders fans still exist, and we love our goddamn Skylanders. Aisle 7 out of 10 was next, and I was ready. I knew the fights would be tough, but I could get through it. I would get through it. And Hex was so good that in my first fight on the aisle, I didn't lose 1 Skylander. Hex made these late game fights feel like the early game. Complete massacres. So I powered through it. Then, Pinata, my favorite villain of all Skylands. It would hurt to do it, but I would have to kill him. And to make me feel worse, it was absolutely nothing. I lost not 1 Skylander. We were finally back up to where we once were, on top of the Skylands. Then, the third to last aisle was up. We started walking through it effortlessly. After a quick summon, we added Astra Blast to the team. I always liked Astra Blast's design. Not sure why, but I know I did. Astra Blast would end up replacing Hex, although I will always remember that I got hard carried by her for the rest of my Skylanders career. Then, on comes Wolfgang. Health-wise, my team was looking pretty good. Only Freeze Blade had lost health that round. Then, a clean sweep. Barely under half health. Nothing can stop me from this victory now. The second to last aisle is here, the Mansion of Gloom, which I got through easily. Until out came Nightshade. thought this would be easy, but let me tell you that it was not. He was able to clone himself, which sucked. Even though my health was fine, Stealth Elf fell, Astral Blast fell, Freeze Blade fell, and then Tide Pool fell. But it's fine. Attempt 1 doesn't always go the best, and after a really, really long fight, I lost Astral Blast, then I lost Stealth Elf, but Tide Pool hit him with the whale, and he was gone. I would have liked to try and beat the game without a Skylander like Tide Pool, but the game is gone now and only will be remembered through this victory. Nightshade gone, I moved on to the last isle, and the last boss, Luminous. On my first attempt, I knew I would fail because of Tide Pool's health, and if Tide Pool would die, I would lose. She was a hard carry, and with Luminous able to protect himself from all damage at times, I knew it would take a while. I mean, look at the squid throw compared to Freeze Blade's ice breath. If Tide Pool died, it would be GG's. After a few more attacks from Luminous, Tide Pool fell, Stealth Elf and Freeze Blade were the red. And with that, attempt 1 was a defeat. Luminous had shown me that I was just bad, not good enough. But that was attempt 1. I didn't know what was going on at all, so I came back. Now look at the health bars of my team. I'm going to describe it in one word. Golden. Ever since Freeze Blade was added to the team, he would start every round with Crystal Icicle because it lowered all the enemy's accuracy. Then he would throw his Chakram, Chakram? I don't fucking know. To half health the light crystals and do a small bit of damage to Luminous. The strategy was to only focus Luminous with Tide Pool and let all the other teammates handle the crystals or do like no damage to Luminous. After a long, tedious battle that took around 10 minutes, he was dead. After Luminous fell, I didn't know what to do. I mean, the game wasn't close to done. I still had lots to do, but I didn't have the time to do it, as the game would be coming to a close in like 5 days after I finished it. So I tried the optional dungeon battles. Yeah, never mind, this game's shit. In all seriousness, Skylanders has been a big part of my life ever since Swap Force. Though that isn't the entire lifetime of Skylanders, I'm so grateful to have found it when I did. And I'm nowhere near done with this franchise. I've been workshopping the idea of a Nuzlocke for Skylanders, nightmare difficulty, if Skylanders dies I can't use it, probably playing with someone else, maybe even if one of us dies, we both die, I don't know, it's in the workshop. But regardless, thank you Skylanders, for being my entire childhood. See you again soon.